To see someone's true character, notice only two things: Zen and Buddhism teachings. Throughout human history, we have been surrounded by many people, each pretending to be someone they are not, because of society, their situation, and their goals. However, underneath these masks, we can find a person's real character. Zen and Buddhist teachings highlight the importance of simplicity. An old Zen saying suggests that a person's true character is shown not in what they say, but in what they do. To understand someone's true self, we should look at two main things: how they behave when in charge, and how they respond when facing difficulties. A wise Zen master shared an important lesson with a group of eager students at a peaceful monastery, surrounded by the calmness of nature. They were ready to learn about human behavior. The master, known for his deep understanding, began his story. He talked about a traveler looking for the truth about people. His journey was long, and he met many people, but he felt unsettled because he couldn't tell the difference between the identities people showed and who they really were. The traveler chose to ask a wise sage for advice. The sage, known for his clear thinking and knowledge, lived deep in a mountain and welcomed the traveler. The traveler listened carefully to his problem, master. The traveler wanted to know how to understand a person's true character, since words can lie and looks can be deceiving. The sage smiled and said that you should pay attention to two things: how a person acts when they have power, and how they react in tough situations. These moments show their true nature. To explain this point, the sage gave several examples. Picture a man who suddenly has a lot of power. The wise person said that kind-hearted person will use power to help others, while a selfish person will use it for themselves. Power doesn't change a person. It shows who they really are. He told the story of a young man who became the leader of a group. At first, he promised fairness, but as he gained more power, he became prideful. He wanted people to admire him, punish those who disagreed, and surrounded himself with people who flattered him. On the other hand, another leader in a similar position chose to be humble. He listened to the people, made caring decisions, and used his power to promote peace and harmony. The students thought about these cases, but one asked the master why power shows a person's true character so clearly. The wise teacher replied that power gives people freedom. When someone is not worried about fitting in or making others happy, their true wishes and beliefs come out. You can see a person's real character by how they treat those they think are less important. Their true nature shows especially during tough times. The wise person talked about how people respond to tough times. He said that how someone reacts shows their inner strength. Some people struggle and lash out, while others show patience and strength. He shared a story about two people who experienced the same hardship, a sudden loss of money. One person fell into depression, blaming others and holding onto anger. The other, although crushed, accepted the situation calmly. They worked hard to rebuild their life and helped others going through similar struggles. The challenges we face take away all false beliefs. The wise person said that it's easy to pretend to be fine when life is good, but when times are tough, our true nature, whether good or bad, comes out. The traveler's attempt. The traveler paid close attention and chose to see if the sage was wise. On his trip, he watched people during strong moments and tough times to find out who they really were. One day, he met a friendly-looking merchant who seemed kind, but when the merchant took charge of a group of workers, he changed. He became strict and took advantage of them, expecting them to be perfect without giving any help. In another instance, the visitor met a poor farmer who faced a deadly storm that destroyed his fields despite his suffering. The farmer shared his small amount of food with the visitor, saying that difficult times help us learn the importance of being kind. The traveler understood the truth in the sage's words. Power and difficult times show the true nature of a person. Years later, the traveler returned to the sage, feeling grateful. "Master," he said, "your wisdom has changed how I see people. By watching their actions with power and how they react to challenges, I've recognized their true selves." The sage nodded and replied, "Remember, this wisdom is for understanding, not judging. Knowing someone's character helps you handle relationships wisely. Welcome those who bring positivity and set limits with those who don't. Power reveals what people truly want. A good person sees power as a responsibility and uses it for the benefit of others, while a selfish person sees it as a way to control and satisfy themselves. The lotus flower grows in muddy water, but it only shows its beauty when the sun shines. Similarly, tough times can show a person's true strength and character. A strong person handles challenges with courage and intelligence, while a weak person tends to complain and be negative. Buddhist knowledge pain is the teacher that softens the soul like rubbing, smoothens the stone. 3 observations without making any judgments. Zen teaches us to watch without making judgments. By knowing a person's nature, we benefit. Be clear not to judge, but to respond with understanding and kindness. The Zen concept emphasizes simplicity, mindfulness, and being present in the moment. It encourages a peaceful mind and understanding through direct experience rather than complex ideas. The leaf floats on the water. It doesn't sink or struggle against the stream. The traveler's enlightenment. After years of watching and learning, the traveler understood that truly understanding others means not blaming them or highlighting their mistakes. Instead, it's about finding a way to live together wisely. He started sharing what he learned with those who wanted his help. One day, a young seeker asked him how to protect myself from those whose true character is harmful and how can avoid being hurt. The tourist answered by sharing a story. There were 2 birds. One was an eagle that flew high above the mountains, strong and proud. The other was a sparrow, which lived simply and was happy with its life. The sparrow admired the eagle's strength, but realized it could not be like the eagle. Instead of trying to compete or feel afraid, the sparrow made its nest in a safe place, where the eagle couldn't go, finding peace and safety in its own way. You can't change how other people are, but you can decide where you want to live or be. Stay close to people who support and encourage you, and keep away from those who disrupt your happiness. The young seeker thought seriously about this advice, realizing that the important thing was not to criticize others too much, but to take care of their own peace of mind. Using wise knowledge, the visitor highlighted that understanding a person's character isn't just about watching them. It's an invitation to take action. He suggested everyone to do so. Select. Build ties with people who are humble and show strength in tough times. To protect your peace, if you notice someone who harms your well-being, set clear limits with them. Cut ties with relationships that leave you feeling exhausted or conflicted about your beliefs. Be strong and know that others are watching you too. Try to show kindness and grace, especially in tough times, and inspire others to do the same. Even when you see faults in others, be compassionate because everyone is on their own journey. Use your understanding to act kindly instead of harshly. As the traveler shared these lessons with his students, he often remembered the wise sage who taught him. During one visit, the sage, still full of wisdom, gave him one last piece of advice. Don't just watch others. The wise person said to look within yourself and consider how you behave when you have power and how you respond to life's difficulties. The biggest adventure is not about knowing other people, but about finding out who you really are. When you practice the qualities you admire in others, the world around you starts to mirror your own inner peace. The traveler, now skilled in his own way, realized the importance of these words. The journey to wisdom is not only about finding the truth in others, but also about being in harmony with universal truth. Teaching how to notice two things: how we act when we are in control and how we respond in tough times is always relevant. This idea applies to all types of interactions, from close relationships to brief meetings. It serves as a guide for us, understanding ourselves and others. Zen and Buddhist teachings tell us that life reflects what we see. By watching others, we learn to understand the world better. By looking at ourselves, we move closer to enlightenment, reflections. As the story ended, the students sitting before the Zen master felt a deep sense of clarity. They realized that the knowledge shared was not just a message, but a way of life. The master Rose spoke his final words. Don't be quick to judge. Instead, observe without getting too involved and make wise choices. Listen to your heart, and you'll discover the truth about yourself and others. This is the Zen way, leading to peace. The disciples respectfully bowed, feeling thankful. They left the monastery with this lesson, ready to guide them on their journey. The lessons learned about human connections are not just words, they are a way of living. They help those who want to look deeper and understand the true nature of the human spirit.